Mouloud Mbarak Flouti during a debate session under the theme Functions and Missions of the Senates. Mr. Goujil presented Algeria's experience in the bicameral system that it has adopted for a quarter of a century and enshrined in the Constitution as an intangible article stipulating that legislative power is exercised by a parliament composed of two chambers, the National People's Assembly, APN, and the Council of the Nation. Mr. Goujil underlined that the creation of the Council of the Nation was a major national event, ushering in a new stage in line with the inevitable changes and the need to remedy the existing shortcomings in order to protect the institutions of the state and its republican system and to enshrine participatory democracy, in addition to improving parliamentary performance and broadening the representation of the people within the legislative and control institution. Goujil also discussed the components, missions and prerogatives of the upper house of parliament, as well as the mechanisms of its operation within the framework of a relationship of complementarity with the APN, in addition to cooperation and coordination with the government.
The representative of the Polisario Front in Spain, Abdallah Arabi, has stressed in Bilbao, Spain, that the strong foreign participation in the International Youth Forum for Solidarity with Western Sahara reaffirms the great surge of solidarity enjoyed by the cause of the Sahrawi people throughout the world. In a statement to APS on the sidelines of the third edition of the International Youth Forum for Solidarity with Western Sahara, Abdallah Arabi said that the forum coincides with an important political context for the Sahrawi people in their struggle for freedom and independence, as it comes at a time when the Court of Justice of the European Union has decided to invalidate the trade agreement between Morocco and the EU illegally extended to Western Sahara. The Bilbao Youth Forum is continuing for the second day running with a large participation of representatives of countries and organizations supporting the Sahrawi cause. Our special envoy to the forum, Abdelali Belkhdar, spoke to a young South African activist participating in the event.
Being here at this international forum is very important, not only as a South African, but also as an African. Because like the youth of Algeria, we need to show our solidarity and our strength when it comes to the issue of self-determination for the people of Western Sahara. This is indeed Africa's last colony, and as a South African, I am proud to be here to show my support, but to engage and to make meaningful contributions in order for us to leave here with a better global solidarity plan. As my brothers and sisters in Algeria continue to stand strong, as South Africans we wish to stand next to the Algerian people as we fight for the rights and freedom of the people of Western Sahara.
And as I said before, the third edition of the International Youth Forum for Solidarity with Western Sahara is taking place in Bilbao, Spain, in the presence of around 220 representatives from all over the world. Our colleague Mariam Bershi has more details in this report.
On the second day of the forum, the participants split up into the 4 workshops scheduled during the forum. Entitled The Sahrawi Youth Future Prospects, the 4th workshop focused on discussing the results of the diagnosis of the situation of the Sahrawi youth and drawing up proposals for the new youth plan 2024 to 2030. Participants indicated that the young Sahrawis were determined to continue their people's struggle for freedom and independence with all the means at their disposal. Sahrawi activist and journalist Sanamou Ali Moussa told our radio shortly before the forum started that their role as Sahrawi youth is to make their cause and the suffering endured by our people known to the youth of the world. A member of the group, A Cry Against the Wall, Ibrahim Shargaf, for his part, warned against the dangers of the wall built by Morocco, which claimed lives amongst the Sahrawi civilians. Asil, a French-Algerian activist, believed that the forum was an opportunity for young people throughout the world to forge links, to discuss strategies for the struggle of the liberation of Western Sahara, and to share highly sociological and academic analysis about the living conditions of the Sahrawis.
Today, for example, we've had very sociological and academic analysis of the living conditions of the Sahrawis, but we have also had experiences from the young Sahrawis from the occupied territories, from the refugee camps, and even from from the diaspora. So for all these things, for all these shared experiences, for all these shared academic knowledge, I think that this event is important, and I hope that it will help contribute to moving forward towards the independence of Western Sahara.
Le chemin vers l'indépendance du Sahara occidental.
The forum, which will last until tomorrow Sunday, is held under the slogan Youth Building Bridges for a Free Western Sahara, is a space allowing countries from Africa, Asia, Europe and Latin America to exchange views and share their experiences.
The UN Security Council's 10 elected members, known as the E10 group, including Algeria, have expressed their deep concern at the recent Israeli attacks that hit positions held by the UNIFIL and urged all the parties to abide by the international humanitarian law and the Security Council and the security of the UN's forces, personnel and headquarters. They stressed that the attacks must stop immediately, while recalling that any deliberate attack carried out against peacekeeping forces constituted a serious violation of international humanitarian law and UN Resolution 1701. The E10 members reiterated their support to UNIFIL and highlighted the force's role in supporting regional stability, while expressing their serious concerns at the increase in the number of victims, the suffering and displacement of the civilian population, and the destruction of infrastructure. The spokesman of the UNIFIL, Andrea Tenenti, has told our colleague that it was important for the force to remain there.
This has happened after the Israeli Defense Forces asked UNIFIL to move from some of the position close to the Blue Line, but the mission decided to stay because we are here at the request of the Security Council, and we respond to the Security Council, not to single member states. It's important for the UN to be in this position, for the UN flag to fly in the south of Lebanon. So we decided to stay, but the situation is very difficult and very challenging. We have been very vocal about these recent attacks, that this is not only a violation of Resolution 1701, but it's also a violation of international humanitarian law. And it's the obligations of the parties to respect and protect the safety and security of our peacekeepers.
Asked about the difficulties facing the force's mission, insisting on the necessity to continue to assist the civilian population, notably in those villages regularly hit by Israel's attacks, the spokesman of UNIFIL said the following.
We continue to operate in the south. Our operational activities are very, very limited because it's very difficult to go outside, but we continue to monitor and report to the Security Council, and we try as much as we can to assist local population in the south of Lebanon that has been stuck in villages for a long time, but even that is very complicated because security is not ensured to our troops and to humanitarian convoys. It's important for the parties to understand that this conflict can really lead to a regional conflict with catastrophic consequences. We need to go back to 1701. Resolution 1701 is more valid now than ever, but it needs to be implemented.
Meanwhile, the Israeli army pursued its bombardments of the Lebanon's southern part, killing at least 12 people and wounding several others. This came as the Israeli occupying authorities ordered the evacuation of the country's southern region ahead of a new attack they intended to launch on the area. The Nicaraguan government has announced that it severes its diplomatic relations with Israeli occupation in response to what it called the brutal genocide being committed against the Palestinian people. Mariam Barshi has more.
The decision was taken in response to a request from members of Nicaragua's National Assembly who approved the motion of condemnation during a special session held to mark the first anniversary of the devastating Zionist aggression against the Gaza Strip. The Nicaraguan government stated in a press release that this motion condemns the continued genocide, cruelty, extreme hatred and extermination by the Israeli government. It added that the decision was taken in solidarity with the people and government of Palestine and that it was in conformity with the international law and the conventions governing relations between states and between governments. The government led by President Daniel Ortega also reiterated its demand for compliance with all United Nations resolutions for a free, sovereign, independent and self-determinated state of Palestine.
And finally, in Tunisia, Farouk Bouaskar, chairman of the independent higher electoral body, has announced the final results of Tunisia's presidential election, confirming the broad victory of candidate Qais Said in the first round with 90.69% of the votes. And with this last piece of news, we come to the end of this news bulletin. Time now for weekly programs, starting with Echoes of Time with our colleague Mariam Bershi. It will be followed by the Economic Magazine by our colleague Saïd Boughazaz. As for me, I'll meet you again tomorrow for a fresh edition of our news bulletin. Thank you.
To travel back in time and learn about the most prominent events that marked human history, no need for a time machine. Echoes of Time with our colleague Mariam Bershi is the only address.
Welcome to Echoes of Time, History's Turning Points, where we delve into pivotal moments in history. Today we explore the fall of the Roman Empire. One of the main primary factors contributing to the decline of the Roman Empire was the instability of its political structure. As the empire expanded, it became increasingly challenging to maintain effective governance. Power struggles and frequent assassinations plagued the empire, creating a climate of uncertainty. Emperors would rise and fall often through violent means, leading to a lack of stability and consistent leadership. The weakening of the Senate's influence and the rise of autocratic rule further eroded the empire's political foundations. Corruption and the lack of effective leadership eroded the authority of the central government and contributed to instability. The Antonine Plague, likely caused by smallpox or measles, ravaged the Roman Empire during the reign of Marcus Aurelius in the 2nd century AD. This devastating pandemic not only claimed the lives of millions, but also had profound socio-economic and political ramifications, contributing significantly to the decline of the Roman Empire. The loss of a substantial portion of the population led to labor shortages, disrupting agricultural production and trade networks. Furthermore, the weakened state of the population left them more susceptible to subsequent outbreaks of disease, perpetuating a cycle of decline. The plague also severely impacted the Roman military as well. The loss of soldiers weakened the Roman military's effectiveness in defending the borders against external threats, such as incursions by Germanic tribes and other barbarian groups. Additionally, the need to replenish the ranks with less experienced recruits further diminished the military strength and cohesion. This weakened defense, combined with internal turmoil and external pressures, hastened the empire's eventual collapse by weakening its foundations and capacity to govern effectively. The Roman Empire faced a series of internal and external challenges during this period, including frequent changes in leadership, civil wars, economic instability, and invasions by Germanic and Persian peoples. The empire experienced a decline in centralist power and struggled to maintain its borders and military strength. Empire Diocletian implemented a series of reforms to address the problems of the empire. He established the Tetrarchy, dividing power between two senior emperors, Augustus, and two junior emperors, Caesars. He also attempted to stabilize the economy and enacted social and administrative reforms. However, these measures were partially successful in restoring stability. Constantine emerged as a powerful figure during the civil wars that followed Diocletian's abdication. He became the sole ruler of the empire and played a crucial role in the establishment of Constantinople, formerly Byzantium, as the new capital in the east, strategically located on the Bosporus Strait, which connected the Black Sea and the Mediterranean. This marked the beginning of the division between the Western and Eastern Roman empires. The division between the Eastern and Western Roman empires became more pronounced over time. The Western Roman Empire faced continuous internal strife, economic decline, and repeated invasions. Emperor Theodosius I was the last emperor to rule over both the Eastern and Western regions. He divided the emperor between his two sons, Arcadius, who inherited the Eastern Roman Empire, and Honorius, who inherited the Western Roman Empire. This formalized the political and administrative separation between the two wholes. Over time, economic disparities between the Western and Eastern Roman empires became apparent. The Western Empire faced economic decline characterized by inflation, taxation issues, agricultural decline, and a shrinking tax base. In contrast, the Eastern Empire, centered around Constantinople, remained economically prosperous, benefiting from its strategic location for trade routes and its strong urban centers. The Roman Empire faced constant threats from barbarian tribes and invading forces. As Rome struggled to defend its borders, it faced relentless invasions and military confrontations. The Huns, led by Attila, further destabilized the Roman Empire, forcing tribes to seek refuge within Roman territories. The empire's inability to effectively repel these invasions and protect its borders strained its resources and weakened its hold on the provinces. During the 4th and 5th centuries, the Western Roman Empire faced increasing pressure from barbarian invasions. Germanic tribes such as the Visigoths, Ostrogoths, Vandals, and other encroached upon Roman territory, eventually sacking Rome in 410. The social fabric of the Roman Empire underwent profound changes during its decline. The vast wealth disparity between the elite and the common people created social unrest and class divisions. The empire faced severe inflation, debasement of currency, and economic stagnation. Tax burdens increased, and the decline of agricultural productivity led to food shortages. Slave revolts such as the famous Spartacus uprising highlighted the growing discontent among the lower classes. The fall of Rome itself marked a critical turning point in the empire's decline. As mentioned earlier, in 410 CE, the Visigoths, led by Alaric, sacked the city, shocking the empire and signifying the vulnerability of Rome. Eventually, in 476 CE, the last Roman Empire, ironically named Romulus Augustulus, was overthrown by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer, formally bringing an end to the Western Roman Empire. The Roman Empire began with Romulus, the first king of Rome, and ended with Emperor Romulus Augustulus, the last emperor of the Western Roman Empire. While the Western Roman Empire fell, the Eastern Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, continued to thrive. The Byzantine Empire, with its capital in Constantinople, endured for another 1,000 years, reserving aspects of Roman culture, administration, and governance until its fall to the Ottoman Turks in 1453. Byzantines preserved and transmitted much of the ancient Greek and Roman knowledge, art, and culture. In conclusion, the decline and fall of the Roman Empire encompassed a wide range of factors that led to its eventual collapse. Political instability, economic challenges, external invasions, and cultural transformations all played significant roles in the historical event. By understanding these intricacies of Rome's decline, we gain insight into the complexities of maintaining a vast empire and the enduring lessons it offers for future civilizations.
and welcome to our weekly program devoted to Algerian economic news. First in the news, the Minister of Finance Laziz Faid has received a delegation from the Qatari group Uridu, led by its CEO Aziz Uthman Fakhru, with whom he discussed ways of consolidating cooperation and developing the group's activities in Algeria, according to a press release from the ministry. During the meeting, the two parties welcomed the new impetus given to the bilateral economic relations, which has resulted in particular in the conclusion of partnership agreements in various fields such as health, agriculture and industry. The Minister of Industry and Pharmaceutical Production, Ali Aoun, has received the Director of the Africa and Middle East region of the Stellantis Group, Samir Sharfan, and the CEO of the Stellantis El Jazair Group, Rawi Baji, with whom he discussed the state of progress of the Fiat car manufacturing project in Algeria, according to a press release from the ministry. On this occasion, Ali Aoun stressed the importance of increasing the plant's production volume with a view to providing citizens with substantial supplies as quickly as possible, concluded the press release. An agreement has been signed in Algiers between the University of Algiers One bin Youssef bin Khadda and the National Support and Development Agency ANAD as part of the partnership between the sector and the world of entrepreneurship. Under this agreement, the University of Algiers One will provide teaching resources and will launch a website dedicated to the activities of the Entrepreneurship Development Center, added the same official. In more Algerian economic news, the energy group Sonatrach has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Nigerian oil company Sonidep with a view to creating opportunities for bilateral cooperation, notably in the fields of exploration and exploitation of hydrocarbons, said a press release from the state-owned group. The Memorandum of Understanding will enable the two companies to discuss opportunities for cooperation in the exploration, exploitation and refining of hydrocarbons, petrochemicals and the marketing and distribution of petroleum products, added the same source. A delegation from the World Bank has been received at the Ministry of Energy and Mines, where ways of strengthening cooperation between the two parties in various areas of the sector have been examined, according to a press release from the ministry. During this meeting, the two parties examined the possibilities for cooperation between Algeria and the World Bank, notably in terms of exchanging expertise and technical support for current and future projects, including those related to development of renewable energies, photovoltaic solar energy and wind power, the development of green hydrogen, regional electricity interconnections, and Algeria's efforts to reduce emissions and projects in the sector in general. Several operators and players in the subcontracting sector have called in Algiers for the promotion of mechanisms to promote national integration at industrial level. In a statement to the press on the sidelines of the opening ceremony of the 9th edition of the trade fair dedicated to industrial subcontracting and